Okay, welcome everyone. I'm going to take this out. My name is Jenny Willardson. I am the owner-broker of Elevate Commercial. So I'm a commercial real estate broker, and I started these meetings, I should say, of the Elevate Matsu Business Coalition as a way for our local businesses to come together and work through solving some problems that seem to be prevalent in the business community. So today, I'm really excited to talk more about AI. But before we get started with that, I wanted to give a big shout out to our sponsors today. So Matanuska Valley Federal Credit Union Commercial Lending Department is a sponsor of this meeting. So thank you so much for sponsoring us, as well as the City of Palmer. So let's give a round of applause to them. And as we're going through this meeting, if you think of topics that you particularly want to learn more about or something that's of particular interest to you, please let me know. I try to make the topic be something that is current and relevant to our business owners today. So I don't even schedule them out for the year. I usually like to keep an ear out for what businesses are going through and can talk about that. So with that being said, if you have topic ideas, please let me know. Okay, I'm going to start off. I'm going to introduce Misty O'Connor. Misty is the Matsu Center Small Business Development Center Director. She's been 25 years a business owner and 15 years as a business coach and advisor. And she is 1 year new to Alaska. So she has recently taken this role here for the Matsu Valley for the SBDC. So we want to welcome her.
And I get the honor of introducing my former boss, Carlos Machuca. I had the privilege of working under Carlos for this past year, and as Jen said, this is my year anniversary actually this week to Alaska, so I'm still here, and I loved last winter, and I can't wait for winter to come on, so please don't hate me.
What?
As long as there's snow for skiing. But very happy to introduce Carlos, and I'm going to say a few things that are going to embarrass him, but I'm going to say them anyway because he deserves it. But part of the Small Business Development Center, we have an annual conference. You know, a lot of groups have annual conferences. And he submitted a proposal to the annual conference, so it's called the Americas SBDC Conference, and it was held in Nashville, Tennessee. And you can imagine it's not an easy task to get a proposal accepted. His was accepted, and he and one of our other center directors, Ian Grant, who is the center director for our rural office, presented a few weeks ago in Nashville to a ruckus crowd of packed room, 45 people on a late Friday when a lot of people could have left. And now they're going to be, famous and helping people all over the United States with AI. So very happy for him. The other thing that's going to embarrass him is he was actually named as the SBDC kind of star of the year this year. So he was recognized at the Americas Conference as being one of those 50 stars for the SBDC. So without any further ado, Mr. Carlos Machuca.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys hear me now? All right. Well, thank you guys for bringing me back. I was here, it was about 5-6 months ago, I guess, and I guess there's a lot of people that want to learn about artificial intelligence. So like Misty said, my name is Carlos Machuca. I'm the Anchorage Center Director. And so give you a little bit of a story of how we started working with artificial intelligence. So when ChatGPT came out, I think it was like the second week that it was out, Ian Grant, the person who Misty talked about, he is the rural director, and myself, we started experimenting immediately to see if we can do something with business advising. Now, the scope of our artificial intelligence is primarily business advising, helping small businesses solve problems, making more efficient and things like that. So I'm supposed to give my SBDC commercial, aren't I? Okay, I'll make it fast. So you can find, we've been here in Alaska since 1986 as the SBDC. We're a nonprofit, so we don't charge for our services. Primarily, we work with small businesses, and we have offices in all those areas that you guys can see. Primarily, we provide 3 services, which is business advising. We provide tools that are free, like reports and things like that, and projection models. And we also provide workshops that they're primarily almost all free, except for a couple of them, but they're very cheap, like $25, something like that. But most of our services are free, okay? So that's my commercial, all right? Anyway, so now this presentation that I have here is brand new. I just got it done for Anchorage SBDC. We're going to be presenting this to small businesses. It's the first time I presented. So it's an hour and a half, but I have to cut it into 20 minutes. So I'm just going to probably cover the most important things in the presentation. Some of the things that we're covering with clients is, the reasons why you guys should adopt ChatGPT, small businesses. Areas where the AI can actually improve your operations. I'm going to show you some resources that we have developed, actual resources that we have developed for clients. And then I'm going to do a quick presentation of some of those resources. And also I'll do a little demo if anybody. Has anybody here have not worked with ChatGPT yet? Everybody has experimented. You have? Okay, you haven't? Okay, so most of you guys have experimented a little bit. So I will show you how ChatGPT works pretty quickly, just for you guys to get acquainted with what we're talking about here, okay? All right, so let's start the presentation. That's a quote created actually by ChatGPT. I told it to create a quote for people who are slow in adapting ChatGPT, so it created that. As a matter of fact, I had a quote also created for SBDC business advisors, where, it tells them, you guys got to move on with this or you got to stay behind pretty much. Okay, so doing our work with ChatGPT as business advisors, helping businesses, these are the things that actually GPT can help you. Now, I refer to ChatGPT, but it's mostly general AIs. We did test BART, we test Bing also, but we only been using ChatGPT, which we still feel is one of the most powerful ones available for business advising, okay? Now, we have found out from doing and working with clients that it will help you gain competitive advantages, efficiency and productivity, of course. Data-driven insights, that's a big one for us. So what we do is we do a lot of analysis of clients' income statements, different statement, balance sheets, but we also do projection models. Sometimes we have to analyze those projection models to make sure that we're in target. Before we did it a lot by hand, now we're doing it with ChatGPT. Also, business plans. We help clients get their business plan ready. Sometimes we have so many clients, so many business plans that we can't go through all of them by hand. So we feed them to ChatGPT, and what ChatGPT does is just pretty much gives us a report and it says, okay, so this area here is a little bit weak. This is what I recommend. So it gives you recommendations in different areas. Now, if you're a small business growing and you need lending from a bank and you need to expand and you need money, remember, the banks are going to ask you for all this kind of stuff. They're going to ask you for projection models. They're going to ask you for business plans and things like that. So we can help you with that. And remember, our services are free, and we'll put them through the system for you. And we can even teach you how to do it. We also have a cheap cost reduction with some of our clients. Supply chain inventory management, we have some prompts for that. And as you can see, marketing, big help on that. Let me read another one. And predictive analysis. It actually, based on your data, it can predict, what products are selling better, which ones you should put more effort on it, and it will give you even a strategic plan on that. Now, these are the areas that it can improve your small operations. This is in detail to your operations, okay? So marketing, big help there, especially for people that always wanted to have a newsletter or that they have to do a lot of posting, in social media and things like that. This is a great help. It will save you a lot of time. Sales, we have used that a lot too. Business plans, like I was mentioning before. Let's try another one. There's one here that I highlighted, which is business problem solving. So we have experimented with different business frameworks that people use in business, and we've found some prompts that will work in helping you solve some business problems, any type of problem, So I'll show you the prompt here in a little bit. But competitive analysis will help you out. And I've been using it actually with some of my new advisors, helping us in HR, doing some training for them, people that sometimes they don't understand specific business area, they're kind of weak. We put them through ChatGPT and we can get some training out of that. It creates an outline and everything for you. All right, so these are the actual resources, the actual deliverables that we have given to clients in just the past few months. As you can see, we have done all of that. As a matter of fact, this one right here, this was the last one. I just added it this week because I just finished doing it. It's a proactive develop and maintain competitive advantage using the BRIO framework. So what we did here for our client is it's a good-sized client. They're expanding. They're going to be asking for money for loans and things like that. They need to prove, because of the expansion is substantial. They're doubling their size, as a matter of fact. And they need to have a strong, solid argument with the bank for the money that they want to borrow. So what we did is we told the bank that we were going to be proactive when it came to maintaining the competitive advantage that they have. So what we're doing is saying, okay, these are the things that we're going to concentrate in the coming years when you give us the money to maintain, to stay the leaders on this type of industry here in Alaska. So as you can see, there's different ways that you can manipulate ChatGPT to help businesses. I'll wait until you take the photo. All right, guys. So let's go live now. I'll show you really quickly here a little bit of exercise. I hope the internet is good, fast enough. Let's see here. We gotta for this exercise. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna copy this prompt. Let's see here. Stop and show. Give me 1 second. I want to get this prompt. I have this very simple prompt to show you something here. So we're going to put it in ChatGPT. So if you guys haven't seen ChatGPT, this is how ChatGPT looks like. I'm using the version 4, which is the pay one. On your left-hand side is the history. It records the history of some of the conversation. I always recommend to start a new conversation with a new chat, which is the one I'm pointing out right now. So I just created a new chat, and I'm going to copy that prompt. So I'm asking, the prompt is, write a 2-sentence Facebook post for a vegan food truck. It was very simple. You know, clients are doing that a lot, especially food trucks. They're posting a lot in Facebook and things like that. So we give it a go, we press go, and it start producing a very short prompt on how to do it, okay? Now notice that it was a very generic prompt. So let's go back to my presentation. Okay, so notice that it was very basic, but now I'm going to show you some examples. Okay, so the first one on top is the prompt that I just showed you. Write a 2-sentence Facebook post for a vegan food truck. But you can evolve the prompt as you, like in this case, this is an actual example. I'm not using the client's name or anything like that, but the client is moving from one area to another in the food truck selling their products, okay? So he's going to be at the breweries, which is typical. Then he's going to go to university campus, and then he's going to go to the office space over there that we have, some big buildings that we have in Anchorage. So in just a few seconds, all he did is just add, and he can record those and then just add it to ChatGPT, and it will create some new type of marketing because their clients are following them on Facebook, and they're following the food truck to go and buy their food. So that's just a very simple example of how you can evolve and use the same basic prompt for your business. Here's another one. Now this one is another actual client, of course. I changed the name of the business. So they're starting a coffee shop, and they're going to sell dog treats, healthy homemade dog treats. Okay, the grand opening. You can create something a little bit more robust when it comes to the posting. So here we actually have a grand opening alert on Facebook that we created. Let me show you here another one. Branding, okay, for new businesses, or if you have a new division that you need to brand in your business, or a new area, new products, new services that you need to start branding them, okay? It gives you a very, very cool plan, okay? It tells you all of the areas. You can even do what is called gap analysis in your business, so see what's missing on your branding. Let's say that you were like 1 or 2 years old in your business, and you can do a gap analysis. Okay, maybe I'm missing something. ChatGPT will always give you some good ideas, and maybe something that you can add to your branding, okay? And those are the prompts, by the way. Right here on the side, you can use those prompts and put them into your, you can edit them the way that you want it for your industry, your business. This is an interesting one, just to show you that you can create tables and you can create demographics. So in this case here, a client came, asked us to know what are the demographics for each one of the social media platforms. Where can I find more women, more men, ages, and all of that. So you can ask ChatGPT to create a social media table with demographics, so then you can target your marketing, especially if you're doing it through social media. Now here, the next one is interesting too, because this one is very specific. This client comes in and says, I have a new vegan restaurant, and I want to know where the vegan people are, where they usually hang out. So it will give you this data, and it will tell you where you can find them primarily in Facebook. Facebook, of course, is the most common one, it's the most popular one. But you can find these people in Instagram because they like to take photos of their food and things like that. Twitter also. So it will give you the information that you need for you to target market your clients. Let's go through another one here. Newsletter. If you ever wanted to create a newsletter for your business but never had the time, I think that happens to everybody. This is a good way to do it. It can create the titles for you, and it also can create ideas. So for example, we actually did this for, I believe for Juneau, Alaska, and they needed some ideas for their newsletter about tourism. And it just created titles and created ideas of kind of newsletters that we can send to some of the clients, or the clients can use with some of their clients, for newsletters ideas for Juneau. And tourism. Okay, so now this is another interesting exercise. So let's say that you have a meeting, you have a 30-minute curriculum meeting, you need to discuss a specific subject. In this case, the subject is how to reduce paper use and save money in the organization, something very mundane like that. So in this case, it will give you the agenda, it will give you the 30-minute agenda that you require, but also you can follow up with another prompt, what action may come from that meeting. You got to be proactive about this. So you already have some ideas that you can talk to your people and how to save money, okay? I mean, you can probably do the whole meeting for yourself and figure it out with all this, but involving other people, of course, is always more beneficial for the company. So these are ways that you can actually create the meeting agenda and be proactive and even get the subject matter that you can talk about. Sales proposal template, we use this all the time. I was just talking to Jenny about it, that these are easy to create templates for any type of, like proposals, service agreements, anything like that. Now, ChatGPT doesn't create legal documents for you. It will even have a flagging that will tell you, this is a legal document or whatever, But there's ways that you can go around it. You can tell ChatGPT, write me, a template of a legal document, okay? And it will create a template that you can use, and then you can take to your lawyer, and instead of paying your lawyer an hour for you to do it, he'll just review it, and you have to pay him 50 minutes, which is the way that we've been using it with our clients in Anchorage. All right, the next one here is, okay, so this is kind of cool too. So I work in consulting for over 25 years as a managerial consulting, and so we had a process that we used to do what is called a conceptual selling, or in this case, it's consultative selling. So notice that I have those two things in red. I told ChatGPT to create for me, a consultative sales process for a consulting business. In this case, it's IT. Okay, but I noticed that there was those two things missing. Okay, especially in business, when you sell in business, you always sell with a concept demo, which means you bring the client's data or the examples or the problems that the clients are having, okay, you put them into your computer and you solve them for the client, and then you show them. That's called a concept demo. And the other thing that we use a lot is return on investment. Why am I gonna pay you all this money, okay? Okay, show me how you're gonna save me money by buying whatever you're selling me, okay? Now those two things were missing. So all I did is I told ChatGPT, make sure that you create a consultative selling and make sure that you have a concept demo and a return on investment, because that was a procedure that I always use, and I always think it is really important. So you can add things to your plans just by telling ChatGPT to do it, as you can see there on the prompt. Okay, so now we move into more strategic planning and development type of prompts here. The first one is, this is a cool one here. Standard operational procedures or standard operating procedures. So you started your business by yourself, you have a small shop, and all of a sudden you're expanding, okay? Now, you have nothing on writing, okay? You know the processes because they're all in your head. But now you have to hire people, okay? You're gonna have 2, 3, 4 employees. Now you have to have that on writing because now you start creating processes. Now, to make your business more efficient, you have to have that on writing, so when you hire these people, they can read and they can train themselves on how the processes in the business work. And ChatGPT does an amazing job creating these standard operating processes for any area of your business primarily. I have tested it in many areas, and it always does a good job. All you got to do is just go in, edit a little bit, and then you have something on writing for your coming business, especially if you're expanding. This is perfect. Or even if you're not expanding, it's always a good idea to have everything in writing and to have the processes aligned. Okay, here, let's talk about key performance indicators for auto repair shop. You can do this for any type of business. And I checked this data with the financial reporting that we have in my business. We have several tools that we use that gives industrial data. Like we use IBIS World, we use ProfitSense, and Vertical IQ that we use for checking all our data. So I have checked some of these key performance indicators towards the information that we have for an auto repair shop, for example. This is just an example, and it's pretty right on. These are the things that they need to monitor in their business, especially when they're expanding, especially when they're going for lending and need some money. All right, business model canvas here. We do this pretty much on a daily basis. Every client that comes in to our office. So the process that we work at SBDC is that clients sign up through our website. We call it the intake. They fill out the intake. It comes to the advisor. In this case, myself, I'm the director. I distribute to the business advisors depending on the specialty, okay? But now we're putting a business, and then we create a folder for the client before even they meet with us. We create a Google folder, which is gonna be online. We send them the link, and inside that business, inside the folder, the Google folder, we put several tools. We put reports in. For example, the client says, "I need help with my restaurant, my Mexican restaurant." We will put IBIS World industry reports on restaurants. We will put profit sets indicators on restaurants and things like that, so we can compare the data. And now, almost as default, we're putting a business model canvas, which is pretty much showing them, all of the things that they need to take care in their business. We do this for new businesses, and we do this for established business, okay? And I'll go ahead and you can even add to give you some KPIs to, key performance indicators, so they know which are the things that they need to start monitoring from now on, so they can start comparing the data with what we call the benchmarking, which we do a lot too. Here's another proposal. This is the one I was telling you for property management proposal. This client called me on a Friday. I think it was 4:45 on a Friday. I was ready to go home and have my first beer. And he calls me up. He tells me, "Oh, I need a property management proposal." He just started his business, and it was his first client, so he needed one urgently. Now, in the old days, how do we used to help clients with this? Just go and start Googling, something that they can actually do themselves. But we used to Google, find the right one, copy, paste, put it on their folder. Nowadays, I got this one done in 3 seconds. It took me 3 seconds. He gave me the info, put it in ChatGPT. He just needed a template. I put it in the folder. I go, "I seen your folder, look at it." And we were doing this, by the way, while he was on the phone. And he looked at it and he goes, "Oh man, that's perfect. That's all I need." And I was on my way home. That's perfect. Let's see here. Okay, so I mentioned to you guys before that we have found a way to solve problems for businesses using ChatGPT. So when I was a consulting, we used a process called MISI, mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. Something that is very tedious. It takes a long time to do. It will take sometimes even a team to go into a business and start looking at the different areas of a business, to figure it out. Okay, so what are the things here? Where can the problem be? Okay, so in this case, low client retention. Okay, I just made that one up for a steakhouse restaurant. Okay, so what BC does, it will separate that in all of the different areas of a restaurant where you have to start analyzing to see where the problem is. Okay, so at least you have a guide. You have a guide now. You have an outline of the things that you need to check it out. It even goes into the ambience, as you can see. Maybe the place is too noisy. Maybe the location is no good. The environment maybe is not cozy enough or whatever. So this is a good way for us to solve some of the problems and tell clients, okay, these are the areas that you need to start checking in. Now, the next one here is also another one that's very interesting. This is create and maintain competitive advantage using Brio. Brio is another framework that we used to use. This used to take a long time also to do, okay, just to put together and to start thinking about it, especially by industry. Now you can be proactive when you start a business or when you're already in business or you want to expand. You can put that on the ChatGPT and tell them, okay, how do I create and how do I maintain, my competitive advantages or my expansion or my new business or whatever? Or even if you're in business, where can I find competitive advantages that I can use to expand my business? So this would be a good prompt for you guys to use. Or us using it for you, because we're doing that too with clients. Let's see. This one here, I get a lot of calls from sometimes from rural Alaska, even though I'm Anchorage. Sometimes they call from rural just to ask me for what e-commerce platform recommendations. We can do that pretty easily with websites and the pros and the cons. Rural Alaska sells a lot online, of course, as you know. So sometimes I talk to Ian, who is the rural director there, and we work some of these together and we send them to some of those clients. We work together a lot of stuff. So this is just in case you need to get any type. This is not only for e-commerce platform, it can be for any type of technology. So if you're planning on buying a new CRM system or your first CRM system for your business, you can just tell ChatGPT, do a list of the best CRMs in the market, pros and cons, give me their website. And then it does a total analysis for you, okay? Exit strategies. We do those a lot too. So exit strategies can happen in two ways. The client has been in business for 30 years. He's done. He wants to sell his business, and he doesn't know how to go about it. So we have a plan for that. This is not the one I'm talking about now, but this is another one that I'll explain here in a few minutes. So in that situation, when the client comes in, wants to sell his business, we have a plan where, okay, we need to evaluate the business, how much it's worth. We can do it in several ways. We're going to send you to a lender. We need to find a buyer for the business, unless you have one. And then we have a whole set of the steps that we do with the client. In this case, this client, as a matter of fact, was an engineer. He wants to sell his business in 10 years from now. So he's been very proactive. So he asked me, so Carlos, let me have a plan. What do I have to start doing now so when I sell my company in 10 years, I'll be able to sell this business at the price that I want, and it's robust enough that a bank will finance the price that I'm asking for, which are totally fair questions, So this is the plan. So now, this is cool because another reason, and I couldn't put it here, all of that. So in ChatGPT, so if you grab the first section, year 1 and 3, strain operations and finance, and you have all those lines there. You grab that, you put it back in ChatGPT, and you tell ChatGPT, okay, give me the details of each one of those lines. And then we put it all together. We do that for each section, and then we have like a 20-page solid plan that he can follow. So you can go as far as you want to, even in the details, just by refeeding that information to ChatGPT and to give you examples or to just give you a tactical plan. Let's see here. Business plan analysis. We do this all the time. Primarily what we do here is just feed. This one here was an actual client. They had a business plan. They were about to go to the lender. They called us up. They wanted to find out if we can help them, provide suggestions for their business plan. We grabbed the business plan, we put it on ChatGPT, it gave us a whole line of suggestions. We send that back to the client. We talk to the client how to fix that, and that was done. And the client was very, very happy about it because the recommendation. We used to do this by hand before, and the recommendation was spot on. And we always find something like, oh wow, I never thought about that. It's always a surprise. Okay, so this is a good way for you guys to check the information. Now, if ChatGPT, you can go live on the internet with ChatGPT now. There's an extension, a plugin, you want to call it, that you can actually go live on the internet. So sometimes if you see the data coming out of ChatGPT and you're not sure, okay, should I trust this data or not, you can go to the sources, okay? It will give you the sources now. So the data is there, the sources are here. Just go to press those little numbers there are going to become in ChatGPT Live. They're actually links. You can go there and look at the sources of where they got the information. If it's a magazine or an article or a newspaper that you can actually trust. So that's how we've been checking the data. Now, before ChatGPT was live on the internet, the way that we were doing that was by grabbing the answers from ChatGPT and feeding it to Bing. Remember when Bing went live, we were feeding it to Bing and tell Bing, we had a prompt for Bing, tell them, please check the sources for this data, and give us a source report, and it will do that, and then we'll go there and give the sources to the client so they can check for the information. Let's see. Okay, so I'm done with my demo here. So usually what I do on this presentation, and I know we only had 20 minutes, usually what we do in the presentation is we teach clients the process and how to go about using ChatGPT in their business, okay? There's certain things that they need to do, but I think I'm done for now. You want me to move?
Do you want to show more about the chatbot?
Oh, that's right. We got to move to the chatbot. That's right. That chatbot is on this area. It's in this part of the presentation. That's correct. Okay, so let me show you here really quick on this part of the presentation. Give me 1 second here. I've got to move into that part of the presentation to show you that because that's the only way that's going to make sense. Okay, so the process that we use with some of the clients is we got steps in how they can they integrate ChatGPT into their business operations. One of them is learn the basics of ChatGPT, and we give you a little class of that. We also go into the knowledge base. You need to create a knowledge base. That's pretty much means just save your prompts, the ones that you like, so that everybody can use them. Define your scope is extremely important, okay? You guys need to define a scope. Those are the reasons that we tell you. This is a scope that we have told some of the clients that they can use. So for example, defining the scope for your business would be, okay, which are the areas that I have in my business? I have sales, I have marketing, I have finance and accounting, I have operations, and maybe that's it, okay? So that will be the scope. So within the scope, okay, you can have it graphically like I have, okay? You can start creating all of those prompts, or you can start creating all the information and then put all the knowledge base into a folder. And I'll show you here how that looks in our system, But let me move to the next one. So once you get the scope defined for your business and how to use ChatGPT, you go and learn how to use prompts. And then here comes the chatbot part of it. Okay, so there's a way to make ChatGPT a little bit more efficient, okay? There's actually 2 ways that we have been experimenting with. I know there are more, but those are the 2 that we have been using. One of these is using chatbots, okay? So we have created some chatbots that you can put on a website, in your website, or you can put it on your internal website just for the advisors to use, okay, where you can actually pre-program a lot of these prompts, instead of manually adding those prompts every time that you have a question. You can actually have one established that, especially for the same type of data. So I'm going to show you that one of how it worked, one of them. The other thing that we found that we can actually connect, we have been able to connect a ChatGPT to spreadsheets, okay? And you were asking yourself, well, why did you do that for? Because we found a way to create multiple prompts, and we created what is called fixed prompts and variable prompts. And just by changing one prompt, you can change all the data coming from the other fixed prompts. And I'll show you that. It's going to make more sense. So that's the part that this is the fixed prompt, the variable prompts. And now we're going to move into the chatbot. All right, here we go. Okay, so we're using FormWise for the chatbot. Okay, it's easy to use. I'm using the free version. In the future, we're going to pay for it probably. But it's pretty straightforward. Okay, and you can create some pretty good chatbot. Now, there's something that probably Chris is going to talk about later. So with chatbot, it's kind of tricky. For us, it works great because the data that we need for business advising, okay, is out there. Okay, everything that we have ever done in business, is out there. But for your internal data, is different. Okay, so if you have a CRM system, if you have something that is internal to you guys, that data is not available, of course, to ChatGPT. So in that situation, you go into primarily, machine learning and things like that. Are you talking about that today a little bit? A little bit? Yeah, okay, so machine learning primarily is somebody actually creating algorithms to go inside your data and extract some of that data, okay? And then you can create chatbot using your data. But we're not doing that because we don't need to. We have the data that we need out in internet. So let's talk about, so these are different chatbots. So I have one open here. Let's see, I think it's a business problem solver. So let's launch it. This is how it works. Hope my internet is quick. Okay, this is before you go in. You gotta preview it. We're gonna make something up. Business type. We're gonna call it a coffee shop, and this is gonna call it industry. It's gonna call it food. The cool thing about ChatGPT, you can put any data that is close to the industry: food, drinks, coffee. Products or service business provide. Coffee, just make it simple. Oh, this is a business type explanation. This is another one. This is another one that I had. Cost of goods sold. Let's call this one cost of goods sold. Now, the reason I created this one actually, this chatbot, is because when we're working in business plans with clients, we get a lot of calls when they're putting together their business plan, and they call me with questions like, hey, what is cost of goods sold? Okay? So very simple stuff that you could probably get in Google. But for that reason, we start to create some, this is, for example, a business plan, a chatbot that can answer questions like that. Any type of questions about business plans or anything that they need to understand in detail so they can put it in the business plan. So that's one chatbot. The other one that I wanted to show you, let's see, where's it at? Let me see. Depending on the internet, of course, it's how long it's going to take. Now, these chatbots are using ChatGPT 4. Okay, so they're using the latest in ChatGPT. And the answer that you're going to receive is depending on the prompt that you create. We created some of these prompts, and we still experimented with this stuff. We're still trying different prompts and different things, But it gives you a pretty good extensive, this could be the problems that you're having for low profit margins, So it will give you all the steps of how to fix it. It will tell you where the problem can be and things like that. So some of the chatbots, we created it. Right now, we're using internally for our business advisors so they can just do a quick thing instead of have to write all those prompts all the time. But eventually, we're going to have them on our website. Okay, probably starting next year, we're going to have some in our website that our clients can actually use. The other thing that I was telling you how to make your things more efficient is the one that I was telling you how we linked our spreadsheets, with ChatGPT. So in this case, creating a model canvas, we create a lot for our clients. So let me see here. As you can see right here, that on top, that's a prompt. This right here is also a prompt. But the reason it's in yellow is because of variable prompt, and this is what we call a fixed prompt, okay? So I'm gonna change this, and I'm gonna call it a food truck, just make it simple. Food truck, for me to type, actually. So, on the spreadsheet, it actually almost works like a chatbot, where you can create those little prompts that are already fixed on it, and then you will get an answer. Hopefully, crossing my fingers here. And here you go. So that's how it works with the spreadsheets. Now, the panel that we created for our client, which is the scope that we set up for doing this internally, is this one right here. This is our original scope. So, but this is our new one. I'm going to show you the new one here. So this is the situation that we have. You guys don't have the situation. We have the situation that the clients come in every different stage of business. They can be business ideas, they can be just a startup, it can be an exit strategy for a business that is totally mature. So we have to figure, and then they have the areas where they have the problems or they need the resources, which can be in marketing, in sales, and administration, and all of that. So what we have done is we created what is called a scope panel. So then the advisor can say, okay, so this client is just on the stage idea. I can recommend some stuff that you can do in marketing right now, and we have some tools here for you that you can use, okay? So for example, let me see if this is and let me start with the, let me show you here first how you tie it to other tools that we created. So just by clicking the link, you're right there back on that tool that I showed you earlier, okay? And then you click on this one here, you go back to the panel. Now, the way that we created, the reason that we're using this panel too is we also created a knowledge base. And the way that we created a knowledge base, you guys see that over here, the feedback folder? So we have created a feedback folder for each section of one feedback folder for marketing, for sales, for administration. And then when you go to, for example, let's try that one right here. When you go here, in some of the links that we have information for the advisors. In this case, can be for your personnel. On how do you do that? What are the prompts that you can use for that? And an explanation of why are we going to be using that for marketing or whatever. You can actually do whatever you want. Whatever is most practical for you. So that's how we're currently working the scope panel. And that's it. That's all I have for now. Get this stuff.
That was great. And I'm sure, like me and the rest of you, still have many questions. But awesome presentation. So many ways that we can use that. So I appreciate that. Next, we have Chris Blazer. He's a growth consultant and tech advisor. So he's going to also present kind of some more ways that we can use AI in our businesses. And while they're getting ready, for those of you who have not been to one of our meetings before, usually they're more of a discussion and a dialogue, Q&A type of thing, but we really wanted to get some examples and demonstrations on how to use this. So today is a little more presentation style, but we enjoy being casual and dialogue usually in our meetings. So without further ado, I will turn this over to Chris.
Hey. All right. Like Jenny said, my name is Chris Blazer. I'm a growth advisor. Some of you probably know me through my role at TCM Restoration. We're part of a larger nationwide portfolio of restoration companies. Work with them doing a lot of this stuff. I find technology solutions and other answers to challenges that we face. And some of those are things like shallow talent pools. Sometimes it's hard to find people to hire for certain roles, and you got to come up with creative solutions to empower the people that you have to do more with less and create more leverage. And that's a big part of my message as an advisor and with the people that I work with is how do we find tools and solutions to create more leverage in the work that we do and empower ourselves and our people and leadership teams that guide these ships to do as much as possible with the limited resources sometimes that we have access to. I've been doing that for the better part of 2 decades, and conveniently enough, we now have AI as an additional tool in that arsenal that really exponentially multiplies the leverage that we can have and the access to tools that we can use on the ground as business owners, as employees, to do so much more than we ever have been able to. And it's weird when you look at the statistics, and I can't remember the exact numbers, but something like 70+% of people that are leveraging artificial intelligence are Gen Zers, which means most of the people in this room don't use it enough. We don't touch it, we don't know what it does, we don't know what it can do. And I appreciate Carlos for diving as deep as you did. Spare me from diving into ChatGPT too much, because it's a fantastic tool. There's so much that you can do with it. But at the same time, it comes down to how creative can you get? What questions can you ask? How effectively do you articulate those prompts that you feed into it? And what I'm going to do today, last time we did this, we had some technical glitches, so I opted to go with pre-recorded demos today. And I'm going to play those, and I'll talk over them and kind of hopefully light a fire in some people here about some of the things that you can do in tools that you are already using in your day-to-day workflow. Before I dive into what I was going to say, I'll go into ChatGPT. just a new thing that became available recently is advanced data analysis. Is something that I didn't hear you mention. It's just another tool that we can use to make ChatGPT that much more effective. Between advanced data analysis and custom instructions, and I wiped my ChatGPT so I can spare my own privacy. But you can inform ChatGPT now. So before you dive into it, so a lot of what Carlos was talking about, you can go in beforehand and you can give it custom instructions about who you are, the type of work that you do, define somewhat the results that you'd like it to output. And so for SBDC, for instance, they could put in here anything they want ChatGPT to know about them to provide them with more accurate, more effective, executable outputs. And it's just, how many of you were at our last meeting that we had 4 or 5 months ago? A few of you? So everything has changed since then. And that's the world that we're in. Everything's changing so quickly, and the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. So if you're not already in it, get in it. I intended to put together a list of link resources so that we could send that out to people or provide that. So if you want to get started, all you have to do is click on the links. I didn't have time to do that, but Jenny has a mailing list for everybody in this room. So if that's something that y'all are interested in, we could easily put that together and make it pretty easy and accessible to get in and create accounts with ChatGPT, with Bard now. And I'm going to go through and show you some of these things that you can do in these tools. Today, oddly enough, is the release date for Microsoft Copilot in Windows 11. It's accessible to everyone. Different tiers, obviously, and different integrations are accessible. If you are a Microsoft 365 user, there is an additional price tier to have access to the integrations that come with that. But most people either use Google Workspace for their professional email or Microsoft 365. These tools are all completely integrated into those suites of tools. And this is an overview video that Microsoft released just a few weeks ago to show some of the capabilities. And if we have time, we can dive a little bit deeper into the specifics of Excel and Word and all of that stuff. But start with this, and we can chat a little bit about it. So it's woven throughout all of Microsoft 365's tools, and it brings all of your data together that you can query, you can communicate with it, and generate all of the beautiful things Carlos was talking about in real time in the tools that you're already using. If you don't know, Microsoft invested over $13 billion in OpenAI, so they have the latest models, GPT-4, they have DALL-E 3 for their image generation, like the one that you just saw in PowerPoint. And in real world use, you see this chat bot over here on the right-hand side, that's Copilot. And it's woven into everything, so it's right there on the right side of every tool that you're already used to using. If you use Excel, if you use Word, PowerPoint. So that's just a high-level overview of what Microsoft is doing with some of these tools. For reference, they just had their Surface and Windows event. Windows is the most prevalent operating system in the entire world, and almost 95% of the content that they talked about at this event was all about AI and the integrations in their software. So if that gives you any indication of the direction they're headed, if you use Windows, you will be using these tools. Now's the time to learn them. I have a few others up from Microsoft, but we can just show what Google is doing if you use Workspace. Similar suite of resources. It's fantastic. I've actually had this integrated in my Google Workspace account for a few months now. And you can query conversations in real time. So if you say,
igniting creativity during brainstorming sessions
I'll let her say
to
it.
drafting seamless Google Sheets templates, we're constantly finding innovative ways to be more productive with AI and Google Workspace.
Duet AI in Google Workspace cut the time it takes for me to respond to emails in half. That's a lot of your day that's back for you to do something with. It makes us look like a bunch of superheroes.
Duet AI in Google Workspace enables us to collaborate better. People in non-English speaking countries can speak more freely. We are able to unleash the potential from more people across the globe.
A long history of using Google Workspace made it a lot easier for us to participate. Security is not a choice in the Department of Defense.
So that's another topic of conversation that comes up a lot when businesses are talking about leveraging these tools. Security is an issue. You know, if you have proprietary information and you want to run your strategy, marketing strategy, you know, your business plan for the next 18 months, whatever it is, through these tools, you don't want to give away your proprietary information to be fed to a model to train other businesses to use your expertise so that they can grow too. And so ChatGPT has ChatGPT Enterprise now, which is slowly being rolled out to organizations worldwide. And part of the intention there is to create more safeguards, more security enforcement, more abilities for businesses to use these tools without the fear that they're just empowering their competition. So it's a priority. You heard him mention it there. Google's doing a lot of the same things, just trying to make it more of a no-brainer for people to use these tools and not be so concerned about certain things.
Duet AI undoubtedly helps Adorme's bottom line. It saves us time, it saves us money, it makes people work faster, more efficiently, more collaboratively, and just do things that in the past we never would have been able to do.
And the cool thing about Workspace also is it's now tied into Google Docs, Google Sheets. Google Chat now is more robust. It's essentially a full-fledged Slack replacement if any of you use Slack. And what I was alluding to earlier is you can go into your Gmail or into your Google Sheets and you just say, pull up every conversation I've had with so-and-so. Summarize the context of our conversations over the last 6 months and create a spreadsheet of the high points so that I can have a refresher for the conversation or the meeting that I have with him this afternoon or whatever. You can do all of these things. And here's an example in Excel that kind of shows a little bit. Actually, I'm going to show you this one because it's more interesting and we're probably going to run out of time.
Copilot and
How many of you use Microsoft Teams? How many of you aren't able to attend every meeting you wish you were able to attend? Probably some of us.
Copilot and Outlook can help you prioritize your time and stay on top of meetings. Here, you've been invited to a meeting that conflicts with another meeting you're already attending. Clearly, you can only attend one. From the meeting invite, you can choose to RSVP with follow. Switching over to your calendar, you can see that you're now following this meeting. Once the meeting starts on Teams, the organizer will receive a notification to record the meeting because someone is following it. Now, after the meeting is done and the recording is ready, Copilot will notify you that the meeting recap is ready for you to review. You can then ask Copilot some questions about the meeting, like, summarize this meeting, or, are there any action items for me? That way you can stay on top of things as if you were present during the meeting.
So there's so much, and again, Carlos alluded to this earlier. There's really kind of an infinite number of ways that we can utilize these tools, but the three big ones are we can use it in our customer-facing interactions, so we can use AI to streamline and improve and optimize the way that we interact with customers on every front. We can use it for our sales and marketing to create content, to create strategy, to plan, prepare, and distribute now through the platforms that we're already using. Every major platform, again, we talked about this a few months ago in the meeting, everyone is integrating this into their primary suite of tools. Hootsuite, Buffer, all of the tools that manage social media and advertising, they're all using AI tools. But the biggest thing, I think, the most useful use case for AI is as a thought partner, as a leader. How often do you find yourself caught in your own head? How often do you find yourself struggling to capture the endless stream of consciousness that's flowing? And AI, I use Notion AI as the tool that I prefer. And it's a way that I capture my thoughts. I'm able to organize those thoughts and revisit those things and surface them meaningfully when they're most relevant for me. The same is true for Workspace. If you use Word and Outlook and some of these tools, that's the possibility in these tools. And whatever your preferred organization suite or software platform that you like to be a part of and integrate in your workflow, it's going to have these abilities. So it's imperative that you learn how to use these tools, learn how to ask the questions, understand the capabilities, and start applying it to your life. And something, I was just served this ad yesterday. I'm a sales and marketing guy. I'm a growth advisor. This is my world. I love all of this. Jenny, are we running a few minutes over? There's two other things that I want to share. One is some of the capabilities. How many of you run Google Ads for your business? A few people. I'm going to show you this first. Just an example of some of the new abilities and resources that are built into the Google Ads platform.
So's a cat.
Good for your cat. Buena para el planeta.
How much more leverage does that give you as a business owner? If you're confused and trying to figure out how to run ads, you don't know how to take pictures, you don't have a Bradford in your life that can do video for you, this takes 90% of the work away. And you don't have to know how to do it. You just push a button. You just tell it, you have to ask the right questions. These are tools that you can use now in the software that we're already using in our daily workflows. I'm not going to show the video of this one. This is called Opus Clip. This is another tool where you can take any video, upload a raw file or a link to a video on the internet, plug it into this tool, and it can be an hour-long video or whatever. It'll scan the video, it'll watch it for you, recognize the faces, and clip out relevant portions of that, and it'll create 15, 30, 60-second clips, automatically chunk those out with captions, and you can distribute those to TikTok, Instagram, Facebook ads, wherever you want. It does it all for you. And there's a free tier. Last thing I want to show is the ad that I mentioned earlier. And this kind of blew me away. I've heard AI voice generation. I did a silly one for a meeting a while back. It wasn't very good. But they're getting better. And I heard this ad, and I was trying to figure out why I was being served it at first. This is an AI bot that's acting as a sales agent. And this particular tool is called AIR. It can carry on up to 40-minute-long phone calls that sound like a real human, engaging with people. And you can use those as retargeting ads. You can have retargeting campaigns that can pull people back in and have the bot sell them on the product that they almost purchased. And this is a fascinating conversation, at least to me. See if it plays.
Hey, James.
You hear it?
I'm not interested, man.
Yeah, no worries. I hate calls out of the blue too. But I'm actually from Apple, and I saw you were checking out Vision Pro and were about to pre-order but left the page.
Dude, I
was
don't
curious,
have
what
to
had you looking into potential? Okay, I can respect that. Can I just ask one question before you go?
Fine, shoot, what's up?
Why did you decide not to pre-order the Vision Pros? I saw you changed your mind last minute.
Because they are crazy expensive. I'm gonna get the Meta Quest instead.
I get it. But you saw what happened to Threads, right? Do you think the Meta Quest will end up
The
being a
laugh is
better
kind of
product
off,
than the
but
Vision
otherwise.
Pros? Or is it just the price?
I mean, it's mainly about price. I'm sure the Vision Pros are gonna be better, but I'm not spending $3,000 on a pair of goggles, my man.
I feel that for sure. Definitely want you to make the best decision for you. But can I offer a different perspective?
I guess so, what's up?
Okay, so something that not a lot of people are aware of. If you take the route of using financing, Vision Pros only come out to a few $100s a month. So although $3,000 sounds like a lot, we can break it up to be more affordable for you. Does that by chance sound more palatable?
Interesting. How would that work?
Yeah, totally. Happy to give you context. Basically, you just fill out your details real fast and can see if you get approved. And if you are approved, it's much more affordable for you.
Okay, so what do we gotta do for that?
Awesome. Okay, I'll send it over now. Let me know when you receive it.
Okay, I just got a text. That was quick.
Okay, sweet. Just fill that form out. Like I said, it takes 45 seconds. And once you are done, you'll have your name down for a pre-order of the Vision Pros. Can I help you with anything else?
No, that's awesome. I appreciate it, actually.
Perfect. I'm pumped. We got you on the good side, huh? By the way, who do you got in the Musk versus Zuckerberg fight?
I think Musk, he's got the size difference.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just glad that Tim Cook is not involved. But hey, I know you said you didn't have much time, so I will let you get back to it. Thanks for chatting.
Okay, awesome. Nice to see you, man. Have a good one.
Bonkers. So, but imagine, I mean, some advice that I've received as a business owner is, if you can find somebody to do something 70% as good as you, replace yourself, hire them, because that's good enough. And this is, pardon my language, but a hell of a lot better than 70% than most salespeople. And this is actually something that you can implement now in your business. And I'm not an advocate for replacing workforce. I'm an advocate for empowering workforce. And empowering workforce and the talent resources that we have to do as much as they possibly can in a meaningful way. If there's work that can be done better by a machine, allow the machine to do that and empower your people to do the things that only they can do. Another piece of leadership advice, do only that which only you can do. And we've got so much now that we can push off of our plates, multiply our leverage, increase our capacity to do more with the limited resources that we have. And these are just some of the tools. And I'll get with Jenny and maybe we'll put a list of links together that have access to some of these others. And there are thousands of them. A great resource that I love is futuretools.io. You can go there and sort by the use case, and it'll list hundreds of different tools for marketing, image generation, video generation, audio generation. If you want to create an avatar of yourself that speaks and talks and interacts in real time on a screen, you can do that. There are so few limits in this world, and it's changing so fast. I think ChatGPT, even GPT-4, the most advanced model that we have, is described as being in its infancy as far as the capabilities of this technology. Google is going to be releasing Gemini here probably later in October. It's exciting. Kind of scary because we don't really have any constraints or bounds to these things, but it's coming either way, so we need to be learning it. Last thing I'll leave you with, I'm not going to go into it, a tool called Poe. So Carlos talked about building bots. This is a resource, again, available to anyone. You can create an account and you can go in here and you can create your own bot for various purposes. We're kind of exiting the phase of large language model generation like ChatGPT, GPT-4, Google has their models, Palm, Facebook has Llama. There's all these models that are out there. These are foundational models. Now we're kind of entering into a phase where you're seeing a lot of smaller purpose-built models that drive certain use cases for certain types of organizations and people. And there are repositories where you can go. Hugging Face is one, Poe is another one, where you can go and you can choose the model that's relevant to your use case, and you can build a custom bot based on your needs. And you can come in here, don't have time to walk you through anything, and you can choose any model you want, and you can even choose it based on different types of use cases. There are pre-built bots that you can use. Here are all the large models. This is Claude, which is from Anthropic, which is a Google-backed AI startup. GPT-4. All these different models are available to you to build a bot. Experiment with it. This is, arguably more advanced than a lot of people in this room would try and leverage. But to know that it's there, and in your business, to know that you can hire somebody or employ somebody who is an expert in these things to come and build a very specific tool, much like SBDC has done with their business advisory coach bot. Every business can do that, and it's accessible, and it's getting cheaper and cheaper. So I'm way over, so I'm going to stop talking now, and hopefully we can still have some questions.